All right. Hi. Trying to decide where best to put a camera at the moment. Greetings, everybody. Happy Extra Life season. Not too much stuff. Thank you. We're here. Thanks, Decoval. All right. Let's see. First of all, as is traditional, thank you, Liz. Nice. Oh, we're doing this like binging with Babish style, maybe. How about I just don't use my head the entire time? I just talk from up here. What you want to do is electrocute yourself like this. Thank you, Liesel. Thank you, King. Thank you, Follow Reach. Thank you, Casey Bowles. Thank you, Forthwith Jackal. Thank you, Nix. No, it won't last. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and go over here. Wireless keyboard around here somewhere. Thanks. Thank you, Lane. Thank you, Wolfie. Thank you, Gothic Glasses. There's Emma. Come on in. Alright. You can't find a wireless keyboard, just use other keyboard. So, tonight, thank you, Nix. I should turn that off. There we go. Thank you, Ferlin. Thank you, Devenger. Thank you, Ben. Welcome back. Homemade burgers, nice. Thank you, John. Thank you, Verono. Thank you, Nix. Did you get a haircut? Not recently. It's been maybe a few weeks. Thank you, Flying Fish. Thank you, Cracker Jack. And thank you, Code Bear. That's a lot of plugs. Alright, so, as promised in the previous Extra Life, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, fine. Oh, fine. What we're going to attempt to do tonight is explain exactly how it was that I made this little device that I put into Gavin's desk forever ago. It's been quite a while since I made this thing. It's kind of in pieces at this point, so which, to be fair, it wasn't in great shape to begin with. The reason it looks like this, I'm bring it closer. Though I had this other camera set up too. The reason it looks like this, these are resistors. One of them just fell off. Yeah, this is some classy handiwork. So, the way this circuit works, basic brass tacks here. Should we start? I feel like we should give a couple more minutes while the thing starts up. I'm gonna unplug these things. Finish saying all of these thank yous as they're rolling in. Goodness, I missed a bunch. Thank you, Dot. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Shadowmaster. Thank you, Mardi Gras. Thank you, Brofister. Thank you, Whaley Bad Games. Thank you, Rushed Up. Thank you, Darlin Lexington. Ooh, Wisdom Teeth. That's the only time I've ever been high in my entire life is when they took out my wisdom teeth. So, have fun. Thank you, Ghost. Thank you, Svelger. Thank you, Marcus. Pregnant Florida woman uses AR-15 to fend off burglars attacking her family. Is that just news? Thank you, Lily. Thank you, A Space Fox. Thank you, Curly Phrase. Thank you, HFX. Wanted to learn something. I don't know if you're going to learn anything or not, because that's the preface to all of this is everything that I did here was entirely self-taught. So this is kind of an inspirational message, too. I had no idea what I was doing when I started this project. And I just had to kind of blunder my way through it and figure it out as I went. The way it all started was Jeff had one of these. Actually, literally, not this one, but a Titanfall Special Edition controller that he loved. But as has happened with this one, So this is very true to our original, what originally happened. As had happened with this one, the buttons on it have gone real bad. It's been heavily used, and it just flat out doesn't work as it used to. So, Jeff asked me if I could take the skin off of this and put it onto another controller, one that had good buttons, or at least figure out how to way to make it work. So I said, sure, I'll take a look. And as I proceeded to take this thing apart, I found these. These are the rumble motors that are in your average Xbox One controller. And I don't know where the idea came from as I was doing this. It was never started as like I'm going to do this to Gavin, but it was just I wonder what I could do with that. And so I started kind of looking around at different small electronics projects, and I found, credit where credit's due here. If you Google annoying beeping device, you can find a bunch of them that are, you can just buy the pre-made ones. But what I found was this Instructable by, let's make sure I credit the source here, if I can find it. There must be a name here somewhere, right? This guy, by this guy. It even has a video. YouTube channel. Let's check the YouTube channel. DIY Hacks and How-Tos is the YouTube channel that posted it. He also has an Instructable here with no name. And this was back in the day when you could go to Radio Shack and buy these parts. So that was cool. You can't do that now. A lot of the stuff you can get from Fry's. But so this was the basis for the design that I used in making it. Along the way, as I will explain as we do this, there were several things that didn't work for my situation that I had to figure out a way around and to eventually arrive at the design that I've got, which is very close to this. It looks very complicated. I just saw someone say that they were an electrical engineer, so hey, PPP129, you got my back on this one because I don't know what the hell I'm doing with a lot of this stuff, and I've just had to stumble my way through it, as I said. Essentially, though, the basics of it are what I use. This is the bones. There's some things that this Instructable does wrong that don't make it work the way you would want it to, though. So we'll talk about that. Thank you, Lethal Faith. Thank you, G-Sucks Games. Thank you, Punkbuster. Thank you, Trinian of War. Thank you, Optical. Thank you, Emmy Duck. Thank you, Marcus. Well, I hope we'll see. I don't know how well it's going to go, Marcus. Thank you, V the Sailor. Thank you, Torian. It's falling apart, so it won't be on display long. Thank you, PPP. You got my back on this one. You're going to have to help explain shit that I don't understand. Stuff. Sorry. Trying to curse less, because that's the internet these days. Thank you, Aces Wild. Thank you, Sage. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, that Manitoba guy. Thank you, K Wolf. Thank you, Yarn Gore. Thank you, Zolt. Thank you, Ziggy Wits. Thank you, Electric Hobo. Thank you, Loud Silent One. And Haywire Gaming. And Valori. And Joy. And Dave Stitch Yuki. And Penguin. Okay. I need to hear an evil laugh before you're done. We'll see if we can work one of those in there. Okay. So, first of all, let's talk about controllers. If you want to, say, extract... Well, where did the other camera go? It was working like a minute ago and I bumped it. You're there. I know it. I can see it. Oh, I hit it. That's what happened. Okay. That's really kind of maybe there-ish. Maybe make it a little smaller. I don't know. Okay. So, as I said, we're going to start pretty much where this whole thing began with a Titanfall controller. This works exactly the same as any other Xbox One controller. So, the steps I'm going to show you to take this apart will work perfectly well on any Xbox One controller. If you decide to actually disassemble one, got an old one laying around that doesn't work that well, feel free to do what I'm about to do to rip it apart. Yes, this is a special controller, but it is in the same situation where the buttons no longer work, and I can't handle having stuff in my house that no longer functions. I'm just overrun with stuff, as you can see from this room. So we're going to pull it apart. And Jeremy made Titanfall will be called Fall. Thank you, Gary Dactyl. Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you, Gruntfire. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, MDK. Thank you, Roj. And Liesel. And Prince Callie. And Centennial Pariah. And Spadegasm. And an inconveniently large dragon. Just so you know, this is currently the top science and technology stream by several hundred people. Wow. That's unfortunate for learning. Sorry if you're going to hear that, but thank you, Electric Hobo, but I need to be able to hear the speakers. So, my stockpile of precision screwdrivers has fallen off a bit since I did this. There's kind of a trick to these. So, Microsoft, in their cleverness, made it so that the screws on this thing, well, first of all, let's get to where the screws are. So the screws can be found under this piece, and through the sticker right here. To get them off, you just kind of take a flathead screwdriver, whatever, just kind of start prying down. You want to pull it this way. Okay. You're going to end up pulling it this way to get this off. And it feels like you're breaking it, and you might sort of be. Some people can do this by hand. I think it's still running through folks that already said thank you to. Oh, thanks for the gifted subs there, Dot. Woo! There we go. Alright. Thank you for the tier 3 sub, Penguin. So, here's the screw here. Can't see it because it's very dark. Let's see. Let me add additional lighting. Alright. So right in there is the screw. Now, it looks kind of like a hex-headed screw. But what they've done there, thanks Microsoft, is they put a pin right in the middle of it. So you can't just put like a normal hex head in there. You have to actually find a way to either get that tool, which I don't have. There's the bad laugh from Lisa. Thank you. What I did was I figured out that there's a certain size screwdriver, this not being it, that you could wedge between the lobes of it, kind of right next to where the pin is. You could slide it in there and find a way to get that to turn. Now, I don't know for sure that I've got one that'll do it. And honestly, once you crack it open, it ain't hard to get the vibration motor out. Right, I went and bought these just to see if I could find one that would fit. But if not, I might just decide to make one. I think this is the same size that one I tried. In fact, it's bigger. This might do it. Let's see. Oh, I purchase? I got purchase. Not much though. It's enough. It's enough to spin it. Right, there we go. Alright, I got it loose. Okay, so this was I ripped off the piece of paper. Okay, a 1/16 inch flathead screwdriver was enough to do it. You can actually slip between the two through the parts of the screw. Let me see if I can get this out and I can maybe give you a better shot of it. I don't think I can get focus or the camera will do it. Let's see. More light over here. So yeah, I can't keep it in focus, but there's a pin right in the middle there that stops you from using a normal screwdriver. Yeah, it is a T8 safety Torx screwdriver, which are kind of hard to acquire by design. That's what they want you to not have. But like I said, 16th inch flathead screwdriver, right, slips right by it, no problem. Thank you, Torian. Yeah, it's really easy to break the plastic like that. Thank you for the gifted subs there, Harley Carbon. I'm sorry, thank you, Harley Carbon, for the sub. Thank you, Voltaic Scissors, for the gifted subs. Thank you, Avery. Thank you, Marcus. New Xbox. Yes, we actually have some of the Xbox Elite 2s at work. They're great. I mean, the Elite was great. That is also great. So, thank you, Stock. Thank you, Astronomic Kobe. Can't read right now. So hi Emma. Thanks, Zombie. This is from differential equations. Sorry, it's still kind of sciencey. Thank you, Inconveniently Large Dragon. There we go. We caught up. Cool. Thank you, Zoo Guide. And Juggernaut Briggs. And Old Crow. Thank you. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Alright. So, as I said, 1/16, which is very small. Like, I honestly thought it was going to be too small when I picked that up, but it worked okay. I might get the other side of this off. Definitely going to break it. But like I said, I can't handle cosmetics. It didn't break. We're good. Alright. See if we go 2 for 2 and get these out. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Really is working better than it has any right to. Okay, so like I said, there's one there. You're looking at the controller. There's one there, right next to the triggers, basically. And there's one hidden under this sticker, so you will have to break the sticker, thus voiding the warranty if you would like to do this. Sticker out of the way so I can get to the. There we go. Excuse me. This controller I used for a long time, and then it was in the playroom, so the kids used it for a long time. You can guess which of the two of us was harder on it. Oh, so this is interesting. The screw we have here in the middle. Now, I don't think this is I don't think they changed the design here, but that was upside down. The screw we have here in the middle does not have the safety pin. And honestly, it looks stripped as all hell. So I think maybe I just got a crappy screw. Let me go to the toolbox real quick. And see if just a regular X will fit it. I have a lot of screws, but most of the small ones are all broken. That doesn't fit. Oh, that's fine. Okay, there we go. But not enough. Maybe one size larger. Thank you, Old Crow. There we go. Weird. Yeah, they just had a regular screw in that last position. Okay. Tried to trick me, Microsoft. Nice. Real stripped. Again, I don't think you can actually see that. Alright, so think all of them. I forgot. If it comes off. That's a good way to tell. This is also if you ever need to clean out a controller, how you go about doing it. Sometimes you can actually fix them when they're gunked up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There are two more here at the tips. One there and one here. That back on so it doesn't put pressure on it while I'm trying to get this screw out. Hey, Gory. Be like that. If I have to rip one out, I will. There we go. Always one problem screw. I thought I'd gotten past that with that one that was weirdly not a problem. Some of these are also, once you find a hex that fits, probably miscalling this, calling it a hex. Is it hex? It does have 6 prongs, so I'm going to stick with hex. Once you find one that fits, sometimes you can just push real hard and you'll get enough purchase to spin it out of there even through the pin. But you do risk stripping it out. And I'm just not getting bite. Screwdriver, which is kind of frustrating. Thank you. See, I can't say your name because I said it wrong, and then you told me how to say it, and I've psyched myself out forever. Ooh, this one works though. There we go. Size bigger, we got it. This is, again, if nothing else, the one thing you can take away from this is it's just about figuring it out one step at a time. Oh, that comes off very nicely. That's what naked controller looks like. Naked. Here are your vibration motors. I use the smaller one here. This is the big guy. There's also a much larger version, which has a heavier weight. So in an Xbox controller, the left, there's air in there. Maybe why it doesn't work very well anymore. Take the back off. So removing this, oh, interesting. So they have updated something here. When I took apart Jeff's controller, that motor that I showed you earlier, the one that was from the device I built, you can see here that it actually has this connector on the end of it. That is not present on this version. So I was able to just unplug the motors from the back of this, and that's how I got this. But on this version, they're actually soldered onto the board, so removing them would be a little bit harder. That's really not that big a deal, to be honest, from when we get to how these things connect. This is not that much more convenient than this. If you were to just cut the leads off the controller here, snip the wires. But yeah, it's so your Xbox controller, in case you were ever curious, does have one big honking vibrator on the left side. That's where you get most of your heavier wums. And then the left side has a much lighter weight. This versus this. Go to the bigger camera here and catch up on thank yous. So, this is Big Mama. Whoa. This is little baby. Me. There you go. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, I Emily. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Remy. Thank you, SC Fan. Thank you, Loveland. Thank you, Cogdor. Thank you, Gory. Thank you, Dude's Angel. Thank you, Trusty Dusty. Thank you, Endorian. No connector on the Elite either, which means they fall out while you're working. Snap the connector rather than unplugging. Thank you, Guest21. Hey, glad you could be here. So yeah, again, a little bit of a change to how they how they do these. This was the one that I pulled out of Jeff's. Again, it's really funny because it was his Titanfall edition controller that I first took apart. Oh, well, now that I think about it, I took apart two controllers. I took apart one controller to be the new internals of his, because I just took the faceplate off and stuck it onto another controller. So maybe the bog standard original Xbox One controllers had these, and then when I swapped the faceplates out, um, the one that I pulled out may have actually been like this. But then that doesn't explain why I have leftover motors, because this would have been from whatever I threw away, not from the one that I gave him back. So anyway, used to have these. Won't matter. We can still work with that either way when we get to this. This is dirty on the inside. It's what the inner workings, in case you've ever wondered, the inner workings of an Xbox controller look like. If you do ever have a situation where you want to try and clean one out, you can pop these off and just you see. Ooh, see, this is an example of why this controller is having problems. You'll notice the lack of snapback. Thank you, Vis. Thank you, Nix. I guess the snap is part of the thumbstick. If you take the thumbstick off, then this little controller dealy just sticks in whatever direction you push it. There's also a lot of hair gunked up in here. I don't think you can see it, but my house full of pets, readily evident inside this controller. Some of that kid hair, I'm sure, some of it pet hair. But periodically, if you feel like really getting the most out of your controllers and don't mind voiding the warranty, you may have to pop some of these things off and just get down in there and see if you've got any stuff gunked up into these little areas. Thank you, Bad Bats. Thank you, Vis. Where are you playing for this extra life? That's a good question. Let me get to that in a second. Thank you, Nix. I don't think I took it from the 360 because this came from this process. I mean, this is an identical motor. It's just that this one doesn't have a connector here instead of it. It's just soldered on the board. So I believe I didn't take it from the 360. I think it was from a one controller because, like I said, what kicked this thing off was Jeff asking me to fix his Titanfall controller. Thank you guys who won. There we go. Okay, good. I got the thank you, Ninja Monkey. By the way, Battle jacket is amazing. I love it. Oh, which one is that? That just came out, right? Thank you, Dorian. Happy Guy Fawkes Day. Thank you, Alternate. So the only thing I've got two ideas so far for this year at Extra Life, which is coming up this weekend. One being, I want to have another cooking stream where I recreate that fancy sandwich from Sky Factory. The Dark Tostado, I think it was called. Which was like a cheeseburger, onion rings, coffee. It was a whole bunch of things piled up in a very specific order. Thank you, Ninja Monkey. Been out for ages. Okay. Maybe there is another one coming. You're talking about the camouflage one, which is a really cool jacket. And then of course doing another variation on a cosplay stream. But I'm open to any other ideas and suggestions. Obviously, it took me a long time to get through the list this year, including Up into the Wire. And I gotta admit, the only thing stopping me from doing the GTA cosplay stream is I keep trying to convince myself that I could do even a remotely decent job with the face paint, and I can't convince myself that I can do it. I don't think I can. I don't think I get anywhere close to it. Thank you, Carrie. Well, welcome back. It is a weird one to come back to. All right, so let's say we've liberated our motors. Hey, MJ. The next step that makes this kind of easier to start with is to get yourself one of these. This is a breadboard. This is how a lot of electronics projects start. Essentially, it's just a little test base where you don't have to solder anything, which is good because I suck at it. Thank you, Fight Tonight. And it lets you test out your circuit before you actually have to try and commit to attaching everything with some form of liquid metal product. The list of things that you need, as per the original Instructable, which I did add one thing to, is you need, let's see, I have all the stuff still in here. You need a 100, and I believe I'm saying this correctly, microfarad capacitor. Thank you, Nix. I'm only dealing with a 9-volt battery here, so its voltage rating isn't nearly as important as long as it's more than 9. And by the way, a microfarad looks like a U with an extra stick on the left. I could put it on the screen. There's a list from in the Instructable. That might make it easier as I'm explaining things. I have been trying to show things on the second camera. I feel like the second camera is a little dark. I need to brighten it up a little bit. Let me see if I can do that. Pop the gain. Whoa, too bright. Too much. Overdid it. Yeah, better. We'll see how that works. Where is it? Look, that's a hand. Okay. Thank you, Nix. 25,000 raised by the Madhouse, and you should do a cooking stream in a Diet Coke costume. All right. Throw paint on your face and you're good. Fight tonight. Yes, but it's so much more than that. Thank you, MJ. Bob Ross stream dressed as Bob Ross. I feel like Miles is already killing that. I would only do a poor example of it. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so. Which one are we on? We're on this one, okay. Zoom in a little bit. Zoom and enhance. So, obviously, Radio Shack no longer exists. So, some of these part numbers are no good. We're not using button cell batteries. That's these guys, you know, like watch batteries. Thank you, Burning Ashes. I went with a 9-volt solution. One, because I'm using a vibration motor instead of a little piezo buzzer. Piezo? Thank you, Dot. No tattoo. Anyway, 100 microfarad capacitor. A 555 timer, which you can get on Amazon. It's not a Radio Shack part number, but it's still, you can get them there. Some resistors. These are important, and this is part of where my issue came in and why this looks like this. Because these contribute to the timing between buzzes and how long the buzz is. The way that the circuit is designed in this is kind of incorrect. Essentially, this one is huge. We have a 1 kilo ohm resistor and then a 4.7 mega ohm resistor. The idea being one of those is supposed to control how long the beep is, and one of them is supposed to control how long between beeps. Except the way a 555 circuit works, that can only work in a specific astable setup. That's throwing words. Stick with me, I promise I'll explain them. Except the astable configuration as designed doesn't work unless you add a diode, which is also not in here. Thank you, Vis. Do you know how long you'll be on the extra live stream for? Thank you, Lord Chaos. I don't know yet because I'm still trying to line up childcare. It's been kind of a thing. Thank you, Dot. Getting 2. Wow. Oh, thanks. You take care of it for me. So you'll need some resistors. You'll need, instead of this, we're replacing this with our vibration motor. You'll need a diode. We'll get to that in a minute. You don't need a large paperclip. And you'll need one of these. Most of these parts are like less than $1 for several. Thank you, TW. This is just a 9-volt battery connector. So No big deal. Need a soldering iron, and you'll need, obviously, some solder. Thank you, Ninja Monkey. You're a diode? Thanks. And then you'll need some printed circuit boards. Now, the printed circuit board that I got that's listed there, the Radio Shack part number, was great for this. Because it looks like this, which really kind of almost perfectly designed for a 555 chip. And that's how it's laid out on the back. Now, this doesn't exist anymore, thanks Radio Shack, because you just went. So instead, tonight, we're going to work with one of these, which is, again, Amazon. You can get any of this stuff. These are printed circuit boards for small projects. The main issue with these, as compared to this one, and maybe you can do more research and find one that's more equivalent to this. If you look on the back here, and unfortunately there's solder all over it, making this very hard for you to see, but essentially, down here you can see where each of these pins is connected on the back. So there's 5 pins that are all connected by this copper. So that if you put anything in any of these positions, it's all connected to that pin here. This doesn't have that. It's just a bunch of unconnected circuit pathways. So we're going to have to actually bridge them ourselves when we get to that. But let's just deal with the breadboard first, because I don't even know if this is going to work. Thank you, Necro. There's one Radio Shack. Well, then you need to buy these for everybody and send them out, because these are awesome for this project. You should look up breadboards, or I have a breadboard. That's what we're just talking about. Breadboard, not good when you're going to final project, though. But yeah, so there's your perforated PCB printed circuit board. I'm guessing they're not connected by like a sandwiched layer in there, because if they were, that would be very hard to tell. Thank you, Mass Gaming. Though I was confused because they have these end terminals where you could attach a wire here, but then I guess you'd still have to then match it to the other side. Maybe PPP, if you can tell us what's going on with these, because this is the first time I've ever used this product. I have no idea exactly how this will work. I feel like they're good for magic tricks. I don't know one, but if I was good at magic, I could make it do a disappear or something. Damn. Let me turn the other camera back on. It's clearly a cheese grater. Pretty close. All right, anyway. Let's get this put together on the breadboard. I feel like I should have this on screen too. Let's see, how many things can we have up at the same time? So this is the circuit diagram. And I'll do my best to kind of explain how this works, but you have to keep in mind that I also don't fully understand it because I am not an electrical engineer. But there's some of it that I've kind of pieced together. Hey, JT. Okay. Well, this is actually coming together. Look at that. So many things. All right. So, let's start with this little 555 IC. The way you know how to tell which way to lay it out, a Texas Instrument. I can't even read it. It's all worn off. I don't even know if this one works. That was one of the ones that I had previously. Let's see if I can find one of the ones. All right, I just ordered these off Amazon. A Texas Instruments NE555P precision timer pack of, 12, which I believe was like $5 for 12. Weirdly, you don't usually get them in smaller quantities. When you could walk into a clean up my space here a little bit. when you walk into a Radio Shack, you could get one. The Fry's here in town actually has a lot. That's a thumbstick. That's not going to go in there. There's a lot of these available. Where this thing has a. There it is. Oh, I'm covering up the thing. Not your cup. I don't care about that. I just want alerts on top. There we go. Hey, Dread Bunny. It's a electronics sort of stream. Thank you, JT Baston. Thank you, Violet. You got a scholarship that pays all my college tuition. Congratulations, that's awesome. Now I have to pay for the rest of it. Well, yeah, it's ups and downs. All right. Stuff up. We're gonna need that. Let's move the screws out of the way. All right. So, essentially, what you're looking at there on the diagram, what you got to think of it as is look at the connection between the pins. A lot of the circuit there may or may not kind of connect internally because there is inside that little 555 chip, there are connections that are making analyses and whatnot. When you first get the chip out, you got to kind of look at it and see there's a tiny little dot, hey brick, on one side of the top. That lets you know which way is up, essentially. Because these pins have numbers. As you can see in the diagram over to the that side. I'm pointing right, but on the screen it's on my left. That's why I just went with that side instead of an actual side. That little dot tells you which way is north, essentially. And that also lets you know where, essentially, or where to start counting the pins to know what number pin you're in. And I'm just going to stick it kind of in the middle here. A little bit. I'm going to start by just building it as per his instructions. And then we'll talk about where I deviated a bit. Oh, here's my big honking one. We'll plug that one in. I also don't remember anything about how resistors work in terms of their nomenclature. The bands on here tell you what the resistance of the bands on here, the color bands on here, tell you what the resistance of that resistor are. So, say gold is worth 1,000, red's worth 2,000, things like that. I don't have the list here in front of me. I have no idea what flavor resistor that is. Again, any actual electricians out there will be going a little wild watching me do this because I'm just a 100% at-home amateur stumbling my way through it. So, we've got our 555 chip plugged into the breadboard. Now, we just got to start assembling the wires. I'm trying to remember where the pins are. Okay, so that is correct. Okay. So, basically, if you're looking at the chip, starting from the dot, counting down the left side are the pin numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I believe it goes back to 5 at the top. 6, 7, 8. So if you look at the diagram there, for example, you've got the ground, which is basically the negative side of your battery, connecting in at 1, and it is bridged between 1 and 2. So that means that on this, I'm double checking my work. I've disappeared the capacitor. I had it. Did I take it over there? I did. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's our 100 microfarad capacitor. I'm going to plug that in here between pins 1 and 2. So if you look at the diagram, between 1 and 2, 100 microfarad capacitor. it's hard to wrap your brain around. I know. I'm sorry. I don't fully get it, so that's somewhat my fault in the explanation here. We'll just have to work through it. Also, looking at this, I need to double check my numbering here because this appears to have a resistor between what I called pins 5 and 6, but according to that diagram, they should be between pins 6 and 7. And pin 5 isn't even represented on the diagram. As I said, there were some jumps in this diagram that didn't quite make sense that I had to work my way around. Also, it's broken. My diode. All right. Let me just scroll over to where he's got his circuit, and we'll just follow that as we go. Okay. There's the 555 chip. And then he skips right to where it's all put together. All right, there we go. So, according to what he's got there, thank you, Pacific Freeze. I can turn up the volume, yes. Hopefully that's not too loud. Okay, how about that? Is that better? All right, so first of all, we need to connect what looks like pin 2 to pin 5. Let me bring up a 555 timer pin. This is just the process, is I just look these things up as we go. Pins. Hey, shooks. There we go. Okay, so it counts up the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 go up the other way. And they each have labels. Obviously, if you want to get into this and if you understand it better than I do, these things are important and you can design circuits that make more sense. But for my purposes, just needing to know where... Okay, I didn't actually mean to drag that on the desktop, but it is nice to have that information available. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. So it looks like we're going to connect pin 2 to pin 6 and pin 4 to pin 8. So let's look at the diagram and see if that makes sense. Pin 2 to pin 6, so there's that bridge, so it's just connected by wire. And then pin 4 to pin 8. So this makes sense in the diagram from what I can see here. Let's do that in reality. These are jumpers. You get them with a lot of breadboards. They're just like little wires that plug in really well into a breadboard. All right, I'm going to connect pin 2. Right, pin 2 to pin 6. Pin 2 also already has one leg of the capacitor in it. I'm going to move that over, actually. All right. So the way this works on a breadboard is anything that is in a row going across this way. Put this right, not constantly out of frame on it. Anything that's going across this way is connected on the back side of the board. So if I plug anything into any of these slots, they will actually still be connected to that pin. So if I move this over by 1, it's still plugged into it. So I'm going to connect pin 2 to 4, so that would be 6 there. Right, because 4, 5, 6, yeah. And then pin 8 to pin 4, so that's pin 4 into pin 8. Okay, so it makes that little cross pattern. I'm just going to keep following the diagram, and I'm sure we'll fall apart on this at some point, but now that I know what pin numbers are what, according to this, between pin 3 and pin 4, which would be this guy and this guy, is where we should have our buzzer. So I feel like that's incorrect, but We'll go with it. So between pin 3 and pin 4. There we go. Between pin 6 and 7, we have a small resistor. I bought some new resistors. Look, and here's the color chart that tells you what all of those mean. Again, bought this off Amazon. Cost very, very little. It's the sound a little bit better. I did crank it up a little bit. All right. All right, so first band, second band, third band, multiplier. So it's a number and then what it's multiplied by. Thank you. Yes. Catsalia. Thank you, Torian. Thank you, Haunted. That was the skin from when we did the animation stream. Thank you, Shooks. Thank you, Pacific. Sound better? We good with that? Is your polarity correct? Well, that's a great question, and I don't know. Sounds good? Yeah, sounds better? Okay. Alright. So again, I'm just going to build it as per the diagram here. Thank you, Andor. So if we need a 1 kilo ohm resistor, then that would be 1 kilo ohm is an orange stripe. Well, that's the multiplier. Maybe they're labeled on here. Nope, gonna have to figure it out. Oh wait, they are. Ha ha. Sorta. 100. Boy, okay. 2 kilo ohm. That's a 5 kilo ohm. These blue 3 mega. What? We've wandered off. We'll say these blue resistors failed me when it came time because I got some of these, which is this is a 5.1 mega ohm, and these would never work. Thank you, Vice Phoenix. Again, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, so I'm sure I got something wrong. But the small blue ones never did the job. So that's how I ended up with, what is this? 6 of these daisy chained together, because resistance is one of those things where if you do it in series, it's additive. So is every time you daisy chain one of these together, it's just adding that resistance onto it. So that's why this looks like this, is I needed a several mega ohm resistance, and the actual mega ohm resistors that I got weren't working. So I just made a series of resistors to crank it up as high as I could, and that's where I ended up. Thank you, Nix. Boy, that's a that is just a lot of resistors. That's a huge box of resistors, and that's how the 5-band code works. I just want one that's orange. Third band, second band, first band. That's why when I bought these, I just bought them individually, so I knew what they were without having to learn. But now I don't have that information. Thank you, Chaotic Diamond. Let's see. Resistance and fuel. Chaotic says brown, black, red, gold is what you seek. Gold and silver, it's the multiplier. Brown, black, red, gold. Problem is, these are tiny. Like, look at that. What is that? And it's printed on blue. Hey, Chaotic Diamond. I'm sure you are cringing at everything I'm doing here, but these are itty bitty. But Brown, black. There we go. Brown, black, red, gold. Well, this is brown, black, blue, gold. That close. They love LJ. We'll just stick it in there and see what happens. Between 6 and 7, which is over here. Where's? Nope, not there. All right, between 6 and 7. Come on, plug in there. Obviously, this is one I used for something like this before. So again, doesn't exactly line up with what I've got here. 6, 7, and the big one is between 7, 8. Of course, this thing also didn't work exactly correctly, but we'll stick with it for now. For now, I'm actually just going to take another one of these. Oh, wait. That one's brown, red, blue, yellow. Or yellow, purple, red, gold. Let's just see if we can get one working. No. In other diagrams, this guy shows up, which is another small capacitor. I don't know how necessary or relevant it is, but let's one stage at a time here. Let's just go ahead and build the circuit out, even if it's not exactly correct. All right, so we'll plug this guy between 7 and 8, as it looks like there. And then it looks to me like power connects from into pin 1 on the negative and pin 8 on the positive. Okay. So pin 8 there, and then pin 1 there. Somewhere in here is the battery. Okay. So in theory, what we've got there is a circuit that should work. Maybe. All right, positive. Not a promising start. Again, I don't feel like that's how this is supposed to be connected. Also, no telling if this chip is any good. Oh, wait a minute. We do have a problem here. That's broken. So, the motor actually has a broken wire. I don't think the polarity on this vibrating motor matters all that much because it just spin the opposite way. All right, between 3 and 4. Thank you, HB. Again, this is not how I think the circuit is supposed to go. Indeed, is not how it was laid out in the one that I had that worked. Thank you, Lana. All right. One that I had that worked. Connected pin 4 to pin 8. That's still true. A diode that's going between pins 7 and 6, which is hello. It's less of a pulse and more of just a constant meh. All right, slow down, champ. Slow down. Hello. Okay. I also forgot, depending on the resistance that we set this up with, it is designed for that spec to go off like once every several minutes. All right. The motor went. An interesting start. We could just wait and see if it goes again. If it goes again, this actually is working better than any of my previous builds with this thing. Part of the issue with doing something like this is when you're sitting here waiting to test it, if it's working properly, it takes several minutes to test. Tell you why the coyote. Just gotta wait. All right, so while that's maybe or maybe not going, the purpose of the diode. So as this is designed, as this circuit is supposed to work, the way, if you think of how electricity is coming in, it's going in and it's going through these resistors to charge this capacitor. And once that capacitor is charged, then it discharges, triggering whatever it is you've got plugged in. So the more resistance that you put here, the longer it takes to charge the capacitor, essentially. It takes the slower, the more you slow down the electricity, the longer it will take for this to actually charge up. Now, by the circuit design, what this does is essentially, because it goes through both resistors, no matter what you change one resistor to be, you're always going to affect both the time that it's on and the time that it's off. So it's creating a wave that looks like this. I should have a diagram for it. But you can't make the off time be longer than the on time, because the off time is going through the same resistor plus another resistor, or the on time is going through the same resistor plus another resistor. So it's inherently always going to be the longer of the two. Now, in theory, what this diode is supposed to do is it allows electricity to not go through, turned off, to not go through one resistor. See if this makes it trigger again. Yeah. That's just making it bridge. I'm going to take it out. We're definitely not hooked up correctly yet. Because right now, if I short that pin, then it goes. I'm going to hook it up as it was hooked up in my functional one. We'll see what happens. Wake up, computer. What are you doing? Thank you, Panda. Oh. Thank you, Dark Wolf. Thank you, HB. Thank you, Texas Blood. Thank you, Wiley Coyote. Thank you for watching, Chloe. I'm Chloe Panda. So here's the newer version of this that I found, and where the diode comes in. Let's see if it agrees with. These are some examples of circuits you can use with a 555 chip. So here's the circuit diagram that I was going off of, where you can actually increase the amount of off time relative, or not necessarily, without it affecting the on time, essentially. And that's why we have this diode here that's going between 7 and 2 on this. 7 and 2. All right, let's take a look. Diode is essentially a what a diode does is it only allows electricity to go one direction. So you can see it's got a band on it. That means essentially electricity can go this way, but not that way. And it shorts one of the resistors so that it can only go through one option. All right, I'm going to plug this in as I had it. We'll see where we get. So I had the diode, which, if I remember, the extra diode may actually be part of the problem, because I think this one didn't work. Ordered some and they didn't show up. So this is going between these two pins. There. This, I don't very like it. Going between these two. Okay, hold on, diode. Hold on. Let me finish putting this thing together. That's why I put a switch on you. You just gotta not be afraid of this stuff. Like, you're gonna mess it up. Things are not gonna work. You're gonna have to futz with it, or go get a degree in electrical engineering. That's also an option for some of you. I've got my large resistors going between pins 6 and 7, which sort of makes sense by that diagram. It's with 2 being shorted there, but all right. So between 6 and 7. Looks like it. And the diode was also going from 6 to 7. This direction. Then my power going in this setup. My power shared a pin, or at least the ground shared a pin. Ground? No. Negative. Okay, so the negative terminal shared a pin with output, which also connected to 3. Pin 3. So, now, what did I do? Man. Pin 1 goes to that. And this. Just trying to recreate what I had here. The other side is on pin 3. I have no idea why I had it this way, but this way did work. So, hard to argue with success, even if it makes no sense. All right, so probably just means that I read the diagram wrong. All right, take it easy. Settle down. Whoa. Supposed to turn off at some point. Stop it. The diode is freaking it out. All right, now we're just full on. All right, let's take a look here. So the output's pin 3. So pin 3, yes. Then, it's buzzing so much. Ah. Okay. Dude, my brain's melting a little bit. I knew I was in trouble when I couldn't sleep last night. Not because of this. Well, when in doubt, here's what we do. We start over. Take it all apart. Go back to basics. We'll follow the original diagram one more time. And once we get it sort of working, then we can break it some more. Thank you, Pacific Freeze. I'm not learning anything, so I'm sorry for you. Thank you, Ash Loves Bio. Thank you, Christian. Don't. All right. We're going to follow the original thing. He's got a handy YouTube video and everything. Look, there it is. This is a lie. The values of the capacitor and resistors are not critical. The capacitor actually affects the overall timing just as much as the resistors. In astable mode, every few minutes, values just going to turn out and buzzer sound how long each pulse will be. Increase the value of the capacitor between pins 7 and 8 will increase the amount of time between beeps. Increase the value of resistor between 6 and 7 will... Okay. That all seems to make perfect sense. All right. So we connected those two. Where's the next picture? There we go. Okay. We connected those two pins. Then the capacitor was indeed between 1 and 2. All right. Putting it this way so it mirrors what he's got. Got the dot at that end. We're going to put the capacitor between 1 and 2. Don't be afraid. That's if you learn nothing else from this, it's okay to mess it up several times. That's not important. What's important is that you just keep trying until you figure it out. All right. 1 and 2, we got the capacitor. We've got those two jumping across and bridging it as per this diagram. Jumper wire going from pin 3 into the negative side of Helio, which I'm just going to put down here as he did. There and there. Thank you, NJ Josh. Take a jumper, just like he did. Pin 3. There we go. Into that side of it. Okay. There we go. So now we have... We got it configured the same way. Okay. Yeah. So now we're connected pin 3 into one side of this thing. Which again, I don't feel like the polarity matters in this case, because with an electric motor like this, typically all that will change is spin the opposite direction. Toggle on games. Don't worry, if you've missed part of this, none of us know what's going on anyway. Least of all me. Thank you, Dysfunctional. Thank you, Inconvenient Large Dragon. Failure is always an option, and sometimes it makes for the best content. Thank you, Jake is great. Maybe not this time. I'm very sorry, everybody. There's another jumper here that is going... Okay, get out of the way of the word jumper wire. From pin 4 to the other terminal here. I'm going to do that. We're going to plug in from here. And go to pin 4. There we go. I'm using all very similar colored wires. So I've now run one from here, pin 4, into the other side of our motor. And solder all the components. So essentially, that's all he does other than then connecting the power, which the power on this, if you look at the back of the board here, is connected to pins 1 and pin 8, essentially the top 2 pins here, which means, here's where I'm uncertain. I believe black should go into this side. Okay. And then red goes into this side. Judging by that, I don't think he's got it jumpered. Okay. So, that is all laid out as per diagram. Yeah, Haunted. Let's not know what's happening all at the same time. There's also no resistors plugged in here, so I definitely forgot a step. Oh, there they are. Okay. So there's one between 7 and 8 and one between 6 and 7. Okay. One between 6 and 7. And one between 7 and 8. I'm not even paying attention to what the resistances are on these. Okay. Not that. Oh, yeah, okay, that is 6 and 7. That's 7 and 8. Okay. So, this is. Yes, this is hooked up as per diagram. Hey, Dawnbreaker. Somewhere in the middle of there is where we're at. But again, where we find ourselves at this moment is everything is plugged in. But if it's working properly, it may take several minutes for us to find out. So let's see. Red appears to be positive. All right, I might have this backwards. Thank you, Coco the Asian Rager. And Chuba Churro. Okay. As per this one, I had black into N1, is what I've got here. Here, which is indeed connected to 1 there. Okay. So that is all plugged up correctly, I think. Just out of curiosity, let's plug the diode in and see if it jump starts the thing again. Yep. Okay, so power is getting through. And boy, does it make that pulse for a long time. Does that happen anytime I plug it in? Yep. Okay, settle down. There goes the diode. So, we know it spins if you bridge, if you short pin 6 to 7, it will actually go off. Once again, I'm not entirely sure if it's not working or if it's just that the timer is such that it won't go off for a while. Impatience could be part of the problem here. PPP, that was my guess as well, as I'm shorting 6 to 7. But, as per this other diagram here, and PPP, if you want to elucidate any more about this, please feel free. As per this diagram, inserting that diode should be good. That's a good point. A multimeter. I might have one. Let me dig through my box of random stuff. I definitely had one. It would be incredibly useful in this particular situation. Ow. Let me know if that goes off. Boy, yeah, multimeter would be great right now. Only I knew where it was. Thank you, love you. Oh, sorry you had a bad day. How you been? Drink expired Coke, but hey, you know, you can just shrug that off. Don't worry. Coke never really expires. Put this where you can see it, so you can keep an eye on it. Yeah, I apparently don't have a multimeter anywhere to hand. Dang, where is that thing? An LED, we could just bridge it with that and see if it, let's see. If I ran the LED, it'd probably just pop. For those of you that don't know, a multimeter is a tool that allows you to measure either resistance, voltage, amps, things like that across two connections. Thank you, Tezca. I don't know if this LED works. We're just sitting here waiting to see if it goes off at this point. Could have been that in the past, just my impatience has been the cause of my setup not working. It could also be that one of these resistors is. Alright, so that's 1 mega ohm. I at least know what this is. It is brown. Okay, so this is the same as this. These are both 1 mega ohm resistors. So I put 1 mega ohm as my, this is 6, 7, I believe is where he had the larger resistor. No, that doesn't make sense with this one. Yeah, no, it does. 6, 7 was the large resistance. I think that's where this one was coming through. Looks like there's some crappy solder on the back there. And then 7 to 8 is the smaller one, R1. So find a smaller resistor. Could be having two 1 mega ohms is just too much weighting. So this is yellow, black, red, gold. First band, so yellow, black, 40, red, 402, and gold is 0.1. So, all right, does that mean the 4-band code you multiply? Let's find out, shall we? Let's learn something. Hey, Shadow. That will help in some way. Yeah, you can actually come up with a. Here, let's see if we can find it. 555. There's a pretty simple math equation that tells you what the all right, microfarad resistance 1 to 1 mega ohm resistance to 1 mega ohm. All right, so time high, time low. In milliseconds. There's the formula. All right, so if we took this back to a 1 kilo ohm, 50% duty cycle, which means that the off to on ratio is about 50% greater. That moved over 3 decimal places to be a millisecond is still a big number. PPP, main thing right now I need to do is figure out how to read the resistor store or band resistor code calculator and chart. Because I understand that they are banded and that the bands mean things, but my understanding of how to... Oh, this will tell me. Haha! Thank you, Sith. All right, first band. Brown, black. Looks kind of a bluish. And gold. 10 mega ohms. That's a lot. Assuming that's black and not violet. Not that easy to tell. But that's a lot of ohms. There's no way these were all 10s. That's what these are. Is brownish, black, blue, gold. Brown, black, blue, gold. 10 mega ohms? There's no way that I had this running through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one of them fell off too. 70 mega ohms. Thank you, Chaotic Diamond. Thank you, Master Tia. Thank you, Gory. Night. Brown, black, red. Brown, black, red. Yeah, but when you say do what I wanted to do, you mean be 1K or 2K or be big? That is brown, black, blue. That is, I think that's violet. Yellow, violet, red. Yellow, violet, red. It's 4.7K. That's at least kind of in the right range. Let's go with that one. Okay. Gotta mess it up until you get it right. All right, between 6 and 7. The other thing that it's always impossible to tell until you just play with it is, you know, maybe this chip just doesn't work. All right, so that's between 6 and 7. This is our... Maybe that's purple and not black. The lighting in here is not helping me. No, that's like a dark brown, black, sort of a tealish color, and then gold. I refuse to believe these are 10 mega ohm, though. I mean, maybe it's an orange. Orange, black, blue, gold. No, that makes it a 30 mega ohm. Sorry, Dot. Don't mean to be putting you to sleep. Thank you, Benny. Thank you, Droid. Can you? I don't think you can read it from the other direction. The gold is always going to be the tolerance, right? There's no gold available for the first position. What you making? We're trying to recreate the Gavin Annoyance device, but I'm not doing a great job of it. But I do know that these are all identical to what I used here. So let's just plug it in and see what happens. Man, I really did it backwards on this, according to the diagram anyway. Okay. All right, that's plugged in. Really wish I had smaller resistors, or rather I do. Because that would make this testing it much easier. Let's go to the little bin of resistors. It's 5-band code, which I just don't even want to deal with. Too much brain. 8K2, 33K, 56K. Thank you, World Stingray. Thank you, Lulu. 150K. Some of them just aren't labeled. Let's see. 330K, 1 million, 5K. This just says 680R. 75K, 10K. That's getting closer. 560, 150, 33. That's an R number. 680, 3.3R. 220, 90R, 3K9. I wouldn't recommend buying resistors in this way. This is not a great sorting method. I'm just going off of whatever little thing they happen to put across the top here, which is not really easy to figure. Thank you, Writing T. Aw. Thanks for coming. 7K. I have a buttload of capacitors for some reason. Even if I find it, I don't think I would trust that it is actually whatever it says on the top of there. 15K, 2 mega. All these itty bitty little guys. Thank you, Sophia. What is this? What are you? I can't even. It's so freaking tiny. Yeah, I'm doing a stretch goal badly. By the way, if you've got any ideas for Bad Advice stream questions, that'll be Thursday. Hopefully, the Deadpool costume will get here. So, if you've got any ideas for Bad Advice questions that you would like to ask, please submit them. The mods have very happily or very generously put together a document so that I can peruse those and try and find some for Thursday's Bad Advice stream. I had more resistors. What did I do with them? Let's see. Up it up. I have a drawer full of random garbage over here that I'm rustling around in. Wait a minute, wait. Aha! Multimeter! Okay. You want to hear something real dumb? I own this. Mostly don't know how to use it. Uh-huh. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, last time I busted this out has been kind of years. A lot of it's sort of lost on me here. But let's see. I want to know voltage. You can be right there to help me and tell me what it is I need to plug in here. All right. That's amperage. That's voltage or resistance. So plug into one of those. Lick it. Yeah, that probably won't help. Volts. All right, so in theory, this should be telling me what the voltage across something would be. Let's just test it with a battery. Say Yimmy. Controlled test of a 9-volt. Okay. Oh, I'm getting point. Let's probably should plug it in the other way. Nope. 0.014 volts. So obviously I don't have this set properly. Thank you, Tia. Thank you, Liesel. Oh, did I? Boy, did I. No, I didn't actually plug it in all the way. There we go. Am I measuring AC or DC? That's a great question that I don't see an option for on this meter. Right. Okay, come here. All right, here we go. Let's plug that into there. Thank you, Blue Dimensional. Put that up there. There we go. 9 volts. Sorta, if I hold them. Sorta. Really jumping around. No, it's really moving around a lot. It's a tough meter. You'd think it would be telling me things. I'm using it like chopsticks. Oh, it's been way too long since I used this thing. I don't remember what any of the buttons do. Thank you, the assassin. I know this is painful to watch. It's painful to do. It has been years since I had to know this stuff. Uh, Meanwhile, this thing still hasn't gone off since I plugged that thing in there. I don't know why I thought this would go smoother than it has. That's really dumb of me. Really out of character for it to actually work. Ugh. Thank you, Joskus. Just another Diet Coke. All right. The PPP, here's what I'm looking at. Hey, Ninja Monkey. I turned it to V for volts. So I thought, got it plugged into V down here, also for volts. I was hoping. And then black goes into black because black only has one plug. And then I turned it to V, plugged it into V. Check. Okay. So far, so good. Now, my expectation would be that if I touch the two terminals here, it should say 9 because this is a 9-volt battery and I want 9 volts. And while it does briefly say 9, there it went, and then it goes away. Which V? Oh yeah, I need to make that larger so I can see it. Which V is it? Okay, now that's a question that I'm gonna need clarification on. Is it V for Vendetta? No, not that I'm aware of. Agent to DC. Yeah, that seems relevant, except I'm not sure where that button would be. I do have a hold cell button. Nope. That's wrong. No, nope, stop it. Hat Castle. All right, wave. Yeah, okay. All right, there we go. Wave. Continue. Okay, that's helping. I've switched it to continuous line / dotted line. All right. So now we're on DC mode then. Hmm. Hey, 9.68 volts. Ooh, it's an ambitious battery. It extra wants to please. All right. We're getting voltage. It's a start. I'm trying to make the chat bigger, but for some reason Zoom's not working. We do got volts. Thank Nelly Noodle. Thank Chaotic Diamond. Thank Second Alarm. Thank Ninja Monkey. Oh, thanks. All right. We've got we got a battery that wants to please. Now, let's figure out where the electricity is going or not going. Resistance should be actually easier. This is also here, ohms. There's resistance. If I touch it together, there should be none. Alligator clips. Kilo ohms. Okay. Ohms. Kilo ohms. Theory then. This guy. Why is it here? Also, probably helped if I took the covers off the probes. There we go. Go in there. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for joining me for this absolute train wreck. As promised, can't say I didn't warn you. All right. Okay. So, according to this, that is about just shy of 1 mega ohm resistance. So that checks out. Not as ambitiously as the 9-volt did. Let's see what this guy is. Did it just fall out? Yeah, it did. Oh, stay in there. All right. This one is about 4.6 kiloohms. So we're still high. Let's see, now that I can just lazily find out what things are, let's check some of these. How about you, little blue guy? What are you? Oh, that's 5.2 mega ohms. That's no good. Don't want that one. Come on, where's the little baby resistor? Don't I have any? Go to bed, Livy. 54 kilo ohms. What was I doing? Why do I have only mega angry resistors? Hey, Liesel. With you, wish you were currently at the beach. www.ampersand.com. What happened in my world of smaller resistors? I know I was going for longer time frames, especially longer than ever actually worked. That's another mega. Get out of here. Definitely didn't buy nothing but megas. I refuse to believe that. Another 1 mega, that's correct. At least we've got figured out what those are. Or something busts. Huh. Well, now let's see. We could start digging through all of these to try and find one that's in a reasonable. Well, this one says 2K. I'm going to try it. I don't believe that I'm going to get this lucky and this will actually be 2K resistor. That would be awesome. Which is why it will never happen to me. Okay. Put that there. These alligator clips are awesome. That there, and we have no shit. That is a 2 kilo ohm resistor. All right. Things coming up me. All right, 2 kilo ohm resistor goes into some slot, and we'll stick with 1 mega. Okay. 6 to 7 should be the smaller one, and then 7 to 8 should be the bigger one. And then we can actually check the capacitor, see what's happening. All right, 7 to 8, bigger one. It'd be great if it turns out that the 555 chip has just been bust this whole time. And then 6 to 7, this guy. Okay. It is now connected and has electricity. Let's take a look. Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong here, PPP, but what should be happening at this moment is that capacitor should slowly be charging. So I should be able to use this to check the capacitance. Well, no, it's always going to be the same capacitance. It should be the voltage across the 2 terminals should be changing. Is that correct? Yes, check the voltage. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Chaotic Diamond agrees. Okay. PPP, more or less correct. More or less correct. The best that can be said for this. All right. I'm set to voltage. It's on auto, so it should double check here. We're on DC. We got 9 volts. Okay. I'm going to touch one side and then the other side. And 1.7. It is indeed going up. It's just going up at a very slow rate. where you can actually see it. Okay. So if you watch the screen here, as I touch the two sides of the two legs here of the capacitor, 1.789, 1.79, 1.791, 92. So, what we have here is it's working. The circuit is actually slow charging that capacitor. .8, but boy is it slow. So I'm going to replace that 1 mega ohm, which is crazy. This is what's wildest to me about this whole process. When I do that, what happens? Does it discharge? What's wildest to me about this whole process is that I had to make. Okay, it's slowly discharging. I had to make the resistance so incredibly high to get it to stop from going off every 3 seconds when I was building this originally. It was just, honestly, I had to jack it through the roof. All right, this is good. So it's probably kind of hard to tell, but what's happening right now is it's going ring, 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 ring. Okay. I would say it's off and on times are very similar, which is where we kind of have an issue. All right, so I'm going to unplug that. This is good. This is very good. That means that we now. All right, so 1 mega ohm was taking kind of a while. This is where that calculator probably would have been good. But 2K, or effectively 4K, is not enough. What do we got here? 400K? Let's give that a whirl. This is where smart people who actually know how this works would sit down and do an equation and find exactly what they wanted to happen. Those of us that are just trying to figure this out on the fly, let's just pick this one and see what happens. But this is why you can't be intimidated. Because you can do it this way. It's harder, costs you more time, but eventually you can figure this out practically. And just make people who actually know what's happening, like Chaotic Diamond and PPP, really upset that they're spending their day watching this. I feel like I'm still losing voltage. Six. The voltage is decreasing. Something ain't right there. So the voltage is actually going down. I'm going to switch the position of these two resistors just as an experiment. See what happens. All right, so now the voltage is going up. Sorta. It's actually kind of fighting. It's not really making it definitely up. Interesting. Let me test this and see what the resistance of this actually is. All right, we're still set to resistance. Tell here the omega, that is the sign for resistance. Ah! Thank you, Chaotic Diamond. Appreciate that you're mostly done this right. Even the plug and play resistors. I mean, thank you. I appreciate that. I know this has to be terribly awful to anyone that actually knows what they're doing. Um, but for the rest of us that don't have that education in this to fall back on, well, that's interesting. So this is more like 100K, 98K. I think I pulled it from one that said claimed 400. These are very poorly labeled. Or is that 40? I think there may be a period there. But either way, or no way, here we go, 100K? That's blotchy letters. Believe me, even if this was in focus, you wouldn't be able to read it. It makes no sense. All right, so in theory, though, that's 100K. And bridge I was just touching it. Being short. Okay, get back in there. Okay, it is plugged in. It is not shorting anything. Come back to voltage. This is when they were talking about waveforms, so not sure how well this shows up, but there's the little wave icon, meaning AC, because AC power does this like a fish, whereas DC is just a constant current. Double check that we're still functional. Really don't want to stay in there. Get in. Okay. And I yanked it out. Now, I have to actually go in with the probes. So I could just run a wire out for that. Okay. Over the place. All right, 2.42 and falling. Four 2.4. This resistor is just no bueno. At least it was steadily rising with the 1 mega ohm. I'll put that one back in for a second. Let's take a look. Okay. Every time I'm doing this, I feel like I'm in. If anyone's seen the movie Sneakers, they get this little black box and they're just trying to figure out what it does, and he's just touching probes to different parts of it to try and figure out where things are. Makes no sense because then he hits one probe part and all of a sudden all the programming spills out. Yeah, for some reason we're now discharging no matter what I do. I don't know where I have gone awry. But we're now seem to be on a constant cycle of despair. Plugging back into 2.2 just to get back to it. Okay. 2.2 is working. Right. So, yeah, in theory, changing the value of this resistor should just be increasing the amount of time it takes between pulses. Though, again, by how this is set up, it should also be increasing the duration of the pulse, which is bad. At least according to the good people on the internet. Could also be that we're having like a Heisenberg situation here, where me observing it is causing it to. All right, so 1.81 is what it was at. Every time I touch it, I'm creating additional resistance or potentially shorting it through the device. So that could be the part of the problem. it's still going down even when I'm not looking at it. 1.7. Here, what's going on in chat? Thank you, X Xenon. Thank you, Chaotic Diamond. Thank you, Denray. Thank you, Legendary. I think you need 1.21 gigawatts of electricity. The wrong Heisenberg, Matt. Shocking. Nice. Oh, I need 5.5 electricities. Yeah, that's where I've been falling apart. If only I had the extra electricities. Lick it. I don't want to do that. Lick the battery, check the voltage. Nah, I got a multimeter and I figured out how to use it thanks to all the people here that know how to do it. So we're good on that. Thank you, Dorian. Good night. I'm going to go back to the drawing board, relearn everything that I used to know. So again, crazy thing is that I got this to work at all. Yeah, it's still going down. So confused. By why that is the case. It seems like it should be going up. This is, by the way, when I did this originally, I had no multimeter, so I was just like, plug stuff in. All right, now we're going up. All right, so what I did there was I moved the 2K resistor to between 7 and 8, and I put the 1 mega ohm between 6 and 7. And now no, it was going up. Now it's just holding steady at 1738. One 1739. Yep, 1738. Huh. Thank you, Predator. I did say before that these little blue guys failed me multiple times previously, which is why they were not in the final design. We can make it work very fast. All right, now she's rolling. Nope, slowing down. I feel like we're hitting a wall here where we're only getting up to. Well, to be fair, I don't know what the trigger threshold is. I'm not sure what the voltage that it needs to hit to cause it to actually initiate. But it is still going up at this 1726, 1727. It is a 9-volt battery that I'm using. So. See if I can find something in this mess. Resistance. Look forward to cleaning up all this garbage. Boy. Let's do all stream or all rewards that are easy to clean up. My life has gotten real messy lately. I can't keep up with the house anymore. Kids, man. Just unstoppable juggernauts. paper. Start testing them at random to find one I like. What are you? Go back to bottom. Okay. According to this, is another 98 kilo ohm. So when you're buying resistors, I don't recommend buying them in a bulk box like this, unless you're much better at focusing in real hard on the color banding, because boy, does it make it real hard to find what you're looking for. This was just whatever Amazon could get me in the day, like next day delivery. Shocker, I know, but I went and rooted through my stuff and I was like, I got a bunch of resistors, I got a bunch of capacitors, all this stuff that I need to build it. And then I got paranoid and I said, self, you definitely don't have all the parts you need. You should rebuy a lot of it just in case. And then I listened to that self and quickly bought a whole bunch more of this junk, some of which I haven't even touched tonight. But oh, interesting. Okay, well, wait a minute. What are you? 0.4 kilo ohms. Thank you, Soliloquosity. Half a kilo. Little did I remember that I had none of these resistors in any way labeled, and I'm not bright enough, especially at this point of the day, to figure it out. We did a lot of filming today for Age the Musical. Yes, it is happening. Yes, we filmed a lot for it, so it's definitely happening. A lot of live action stuff went into it. Most of the day today was just filming for that. Anybody that's still questioning whether Jack's working on it or not, we've definitely worked on it. What do we got here? Oh, just a sweet 32 ohm. Which it kind of tried to tell me. So I was supposed to infer that this was 32 ohm by this label at the top that said 3.3 R. Sure. All right, let's check back in on our capacitor and see if it's still going. They were 1.7 when we left. Oh, still 1.78. And decreasing. Well, all I can say for certain at this point is that, boy, did I get lucky when I made it work the first time. After hours of experimentation, I did somehow manage to make a device that functions. Whether I can still do that, jury's still out there. Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Tharika. Tharika? I wonder what my voltage is. I feel like if that number was higher, I'd understand this better. Ooh, there we go. I'm gonna think real hard. That's about 100 millivolts. Really, not going to be powering anything there, but hey, I'll take that. Is that the voltage of my brain? No. But man, does my skin have fairly okay conductivity. Keep checking this because I'm hoping for a different result. 1.781 and going down again. I hate. Well, here's what we can do. We can make it go buzz, 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 thus proving that it sort of works. Ah, back. And it's pulsing, which is not at all what you want in this device. But it is very relaxing. Boy, that's just kind of. I don't know if you can hear it, but trust me, it's got a real nice rhythm to it. Oh God, now I've angered it. Still don't know how I made this hot mess of wires do anything. Crazy. Thank you, Caitlin. Where the diode got off to. There it is. I feel like this is broken. Oh! Thank you, Unjust. Got a pause in there. Interesting. Stop for a second. I just gotta get this plugged in there. Okay. Alright, now I'm just experimenting. So, then plug this one back in here. Now I have the diode back in place, which is, again, this is how I had it. Right. Still going down. I don't know if the multimeter is just causing a drop in voltage. Ah, stop it, stop it, stop it. Take it easy, take it easy. That's just flat on. No, they're good. It does have a delay in there. It does have a pause. Is this the same one or is this the 100 I had? This is exactly how it went too. Is me just plugging things in until I got it to work as close to how I wanted it to work as it eventually did. Okay. So now I've got the 100K between 7 and 8, a 1 meg between the 6 and 7. Let's just see if it's doing anything. 2.51 going down. All right, so it's 2.5. I'm gonna check back in just a second, see if it actually goes up. Thank you, Mike Colon. Thank you, Unjust. What would be the resistance of Gavin's nose? Ooh, good question. Thank you, Caitlin Rose. Is that a vibe check? A little bit. Jumping back a bit, thank you, Soliloquosity. Your laptop developed some intelligence of its own and started communicating with me via smoke signals. That's rarely good. Thank you, Ninja Monkey. I turned it off and back on again so many times. Thank you, Crystal. Oh, I'm sorry you're having a bad brain day. Multimeters when measuring voltage are inserted in parallel. Now the voltage across parallel paths is the same, so there shouldn't be any interference from the meter, which would be why we use them the way we do. Thank you, PPP. Unfortunately, that doesn't explain to me why this is failing. Hey, Kame. 2.5. Now 2.3, so it's still going down. Somewhere in this. Well, may just have to call it a night and try it again later. In fairness, it did take me several days to make it work. The computer over there went to sleep. Good. Good. This is a big mess that I have to figure out something to do with. My life. Thank you, Doombringer. I'm not quitting. Not. Uh-oh. What happened to Nightbot? The voltage will always discharge through R2 when not being charged. What is the point of making the device? It's a great question. What was the point? Well, so as I understand it, the size of the resistors only affects the timing. So increasing the size of the resistors just should spread out how long it takes. But that shouldn't stop it from working. Why is an NASA shirt talking to us? There, I have a mouth now. A t-shirt stream. No. I'm proud of them. I'm not ashamed. They're too hot for Twitch, but the battery leads fully connected. Well, I mean, again, that's sort of the odd thing. Am I hoping NASA will sponsor me? Always, yes. Hey, if you know anybody at NASA, hook me up. Send me to space. Look at all the technology knowledge I don't have. Um. Well, all right. So if we have a 2K in both slots, then it goes off fairly strongly and regularly. Which is why I'm a little confused that it doesn't work with any other resistor in those positions. If it wasn't working in any position, I would feel more concerned about the contacts than with it right now, where it does work as long as the resistance is low enough. Initially, it's going up quite nicely, and then it goes the other way. The voltage on the capacitors going up and down. Now it's dropping like a rock. It shot up, and now it's shot down. Seems to like being in the 1.78 range. Now it's going up again. Thank you, MQ Carry. Now, if this is going up and down, then that does make sense because and then now it's running up. Now it's going down. Something is causing the charge wave to be sinusoidal. So why would that be? This is where not knowing more about the inner workings of the 555 chip is really kind of working against me. So instead of it going as it's supposed to do, you should have a graph that's looking like this, where it goes up and then up and then. But what we're getting instead is kind of like this long sine wave of charge. 1.8, and it's going. What is effectively 3? That is also something that's kind of different here. Is on the version that I put Gavin's desk, the wires here, which were connected to the motor, were connected to pin 3 and to pin 1. Looks like. Whereas in this case, I'm connected to pin 3 and pin 4. Jumping from pin 2 to pin. Okay. Still jumping from 2 to pin 6. And then from pin 4 to pin 8. Yeah. And then this chunky guys. The large resistance I had was between pins 6 and 7. Meanwhile, I had a fairly large resistor, still 1 mega, between 7 and 8. Right now I've got 2K between 7 and 8. I've got 1 mega ohm between 6 and 7. So that layout is consistent with this. I did have the diode on here. I'm a little concerned, though, that this diode may be no good, because I seem to remember I only had 2 of these, and one of them sucked. But my memory's a little fuzzy on that. The only thing about this one that differs from the connected would have had to have been over here. I think see solder there. Which would be consistent with that. Yeah, the only thing different here is that my output doesn't touch pin 4. So out of curiosity, I'm going to pull this from pin 4. I'm going to connect it as per the other one. Whoa! To pin 1. Which just throws it full on. So, how the Jehoshaphat did that work? It's crazy. It shouldn't work. Unless the unless this timer circuit is different from this timer circuit, then the exact same wiring should work. It makes no sense. Here it is. Definitely on the same line as this, which was on the same line as this. I mean, that's where it was. I mean, a lot of this has come unsoldered, but that is still connected. There's no way that that went anywhere else. For shits and giggles, plug this thing back in. I mean, a lot of these connections are broken, but I think they're made loosely hold on. Granted, it did become busted through the process of being wailed on. Everything is touching back, even if it's not exactly attached. Ow. Okay. That power switch. Here it is. Oh, there it goes. Okay. It's off. Now, I never did get it. That's son of never did get the timing exactly how I wanted it. It went off a lot more regularly than I planned, but this is still working. Somewhere we can see it. Yep, there it went. Little buzz. What I wanted it to do was much more spaced out, and that's why it had so many resistors. Totally works. I don't understand. Ah, stop it. You know, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting to get different results. Here I am confronted with a situation where I'm trying to do the same thing over and over again to get the same results, and it's not. So either the pinout on this version of the timer is different, or electricity is broken. Ah. Thank you, MQ Carry and Doombringer. I mean, could be bad wires, could be a lot of things. Up the resistance. uh, I'm not sure what the timer chip that I had previously was, but I do still have one. Boy, it's really not legible. It does what it should, not what you want. The well, that's the thing is I just want it to do what it did. Yeah, I can't make out what the writing on this other chip is. Well, the other problem I have here, PPP, is that I don't. I'm just having to go through the resistors one at a time and figure out what the resistance on them is, because their labeling is so bad. But let's see. All right, let's just plug some numbers in here and see what happens. 100. All right, now we're getting into numbers that make sense. So that'd be 7 seconds, right? Because you move it over 3 decimal places. Time low and time high. Which again, this means that the on period is longer than the off period. 1 kilo ohm. Right now I've got a 2 kilo ohm there. The 2 kilo ohm here. Hey, you game bros. So this does look like it's consistent. It's 0.2 seconds on, off, on, off, on, off. Okay, let's try this. So if I make that that's 400, I can twist them together. Right now that's making time high. Okay, that's 2, 6. So that only hurts me in terms of the flip-flop that I need here. Okay. But, boy, okay. I could also increase the capacitor size, which should actually change the timing on both of them to be higher. Now I do also notice that there's a second capacitor shown in this diagram here, this 10 nanofarad, which we don't have in our circuit. And I'm not sure, how important that is. Maybe very. But let's see what we got in here. Anything that'd help out. I can take it up to a 220, though it is a 10 volt, which is scary, because I'm running 9. So if I make this a 220 capacitor, that should jump both values. That makes it 1.5 seconds on to just about 1 second off. It's really not ideal. I really need like a 10. If I could find 2 10s, at least that would, let's see. This is where other way. 10 still keeps us as close as possible. I did find that 32 ohm, which would give it about the same. 100 should be about every 7 seconds. If we do 32, which is 7 to 4. Thank you, Jackie. Or rather, thank you, Nix, for gifting to Jackie. All right. So, 6 to 7, we can put one of those 100 kilo ohms in and put one of the 32s between, again, this is listed 7 to 4, not, unless, correct me if I'm reading that wrong, but according to that, R1 should be bridging pin 7 to pin 4. So pin 4 is connected to pin 8, so Uh, I don't know that that matters. Correct. Well, that's not how this diagram was laid out, though. Thank you, Aaron S. So, is it because our jumper's going from pin 4 to pin 8 that we just connect 7, 8 and we're still okay? Because it looks like 4 is just jumpered into that. Okay, and then technically R1 still goes to 8. Okay. All right, so R1, we need that itty bitty capacitor, which is this guy. I'm going to double check it. Do, 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 do. Take it down a notch. Why so angry? 32 ohms. Okay. 32 ohms going into R1, which is 7 to 8. So 7 to 8. Okay, that's in. And then that 100 I had, one of these guys, whichever one is not the same as the other ones. That's the one I had in there. This guy, I believe, is 100. New. 98 kilo. Okay. All right, so in theory, now bridging 7. Put this back over here. So it should be going off every 7 seconds for 7 seconds. Right. Ow. Hardly electrocuted myself at all tonight. Proud of me. That wasn't it buzzing, that was me. Alright. That's there, that's there. Is plugged into power. And it is not going off. Voltage across the capacitor is 2.443 and falling rapidly. Crazy thing is, it had to have shot up to 2.4. It wasn't at 2.4. 32 is in. Did it very well. 238, 239, 2389. Well, let's just wait 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wah, wah. And just to double check that I didn't mess this up somewhere in between, I'm going to plug back in the 2 shorties. Just make it go buzz, buzz, buzz. Really want to check the voltage as this is going. Okay. So that'll still be charging. Hey, Chaotic Diamond. Is the cap backwards? The cap. Oh, the capacitor. So in the current mode, it is cycling up to 9 volts over and over again. Let me take a look at the capacitor. Negative terminal and, well, obviously that would be the positive terminal. That's the negative terminal. So right now I've got it so that the negative terminal is in pin 2. Diagram on the screen, I can't tell if that matters. Usually one of them curved, right? So 32 ohm. Strong legged. I'm going to take this guy, put him in 6, 7. This guy into 7, 8. Excuse me. Okay, 7, 8, 6, 7. And no cycle. Well, it's going up slowly. And going down. Going up. And going down. Hey, Ziggy. Ooh. Ooh, that's bad. Just touched that resistor and it was freaking hot. Go ahead and just unplug these. All right. Means that thing was maybe potentially massively overvolting. Thank you, Aaron S. That is how resistors work, yes. For a 32, I should have expected it with a 32 ohm because that's... Yeah, well, Swap R2 for a 1/4 watt instead of an 1/8 watt. R2 being the bigger one. I may just have to order some more resistors then, because I think all I've got in the 1/4 watt are these 1 mega ohms, and this is not working. Thank you, Ty. Well, I'm afraid we may have to call it a night here. I don't know if I'm using 1/8 watt or 1/4 watt, to be honest. That was not part of the labeling when I bought them. I don't know how to tell, to be honest. Thank you, Necro. Pack will say. You may be overestimating the quality of this pack. It is not on this particular packaging anywhere I can see. Raising 32 ohm and lowering the... Yeah, no, this was definitely not the highest quality resistor package I could have bought. Thanks, Jade. Use 267 ohm 1/8 watt in parallel. That's true. Could do that. Use a bigger capacitor if you're going to throw a 32 ohm resistor. If reason will I build up enough? I mean, I'm just still more confused by the fact that this worked and that doesn't. Using the same circuitry or the same circuit design on this doesn't work on that 555 timer. So, oof. All I know is it's late and my brain's about whacked. Let's just all accept that electronics is magic. Get a close up on the new one, sure. This one was plugged into here. Let me put this back to full screen. All right, so there's the breadboard. We've got the capacitor between 1 and 2. Hard to get a good view of it, but here's the power supply connecting to pins 1 and 8. We've got a jumper between pin 8 and pin 4, jumper between pin 2 and pin 6. Our output is connected between pin 4 and pin 3. And our resistors were jumping here between 6 and 7 and 7 and 8. I mean, I can turn the capacitor around. It being backwards or not doesn't change much considering it was working. Thank you, Haunted. Gotta go back in time. I need to do a time heist on my own brain. Tried disconnecting pin 4 entirely. I mean, here, let me throw this back up. So, according to that diagram, well, actually, that one doesn't have any of that in. According to this diagram, pin 4 to pin 3 is where the buzzer, in this case, pin 4 is reset, but it is active low, so resets on 0 volt. Did you verify pin 1? I mean, what do you mean? I haven't bled on it. No, I haven't tried that. Here's the pin. Pin 1's ground. At least with that, I guess, unless this is somehow a 555 timer that doesn't conform to any of the other 555 timers that have ever been made, which is possible. I'm not discounting that. But unlikely. I mean, I'm willing to believe that it is in fact not wrong. So I just reversed this capacitor. We can try it again. So again, negative side was connected to pin 2. Pin 1 was cap wasn't reversed. Okay, I didn't think it was. Negative should be on pin 1, shouldn't it? Well, do we have a consensus on that? It was functioning, and the timing was correct per our calculator using two 2K ohm resistors. Negative is pin 1. Okay, I just flipped that. That was backwards. Plug it in one more time. Switching. I had on this negative. On this version, negative was in pin 2. On the one that actually went to Gavin's desk, the negative side of the capacitor was on pin 2. But I've now flipped it, so negative is on pin 1. What resistance should I feed it? PPP, you said you have a bridge from 6 to 2, correct? We have a jumper going from, that's 1, 6 to 2. Yes, correct. 6 to 2 is bridged, and 4 to 8 is bridged. So looking at the diagram over there, I can see 4, 8, and then 6 to 2. Both of those make sense in that diagram. I don't have that 0.01 microfarad secondary capacitor connected from pin 5 to the ground. I'm not sure what that's for. It does list a second capacitor. It was not in the instructions that were part of the DIY hack example. That doesn't matter, Chaotic Diamond says. What did I just join into? Great question. I feel like at the end of this, I'm just going to be Catbug. Like, I'm a bomb! Apparently, well, I don't have the diode in there. So you look at the astable mode up above here. This is just standard astable, which precludes the diode, and it does show that secondary capacitor in there. Though again, the reason to maybe not use the basic astable is because your T1 and T2, your cycles, your phase are roughly the same. I tried, Allison. I tried so hard. I made it work once. That was all I had in me. Did I know there's an upcoming raffle during Extra Life? Great point, Joy Bones. There's going to be a raffle for one of the Two Little Ninjas books that several artists in the community were kind enough to contribute art for, starring my own Two Little Ninjas. So for Extra Life, please bid in that raffle. It's a wonderful book. Thank you, Ninja Monkey. Thank you, Joy. I'm sorry that I have not mentioned it. Use a Austin says use a couple hundred kilo ohm resistors. You want me to put one in both slots for R1 and R2? Is that correct? I'm going to turn this back around because it seems like consensus is that it was correct the other way. Nothing is currently super hot, but there are no resistors in it, so it's not. The circuit's not complete. Rusty. R1 1K and R2 10 mega ohm. Oof. If I were to do 1K and 10 mega ohms, then that would be weird. Also, I don't have a 1K. At least I haven't found one yet. Mr. Teddy, I don't actually have a small speaker on me at the moment. Didn't change to mega ohm. You're right, I didn't. There we go. Oh, and now we're into 6.9 E5. It's mini. That's mini seconds. I guess 5 more digits, right? 600 seconds. 10 minutes. Dual 100K. Oh, all right. I only have that in, this is your words, not mine, quarter watt. Sorry, eighth of watt instead of quarter watt. Which ones was that? Also, no guarantee that I can actually find the either one that's different. Okay. All right, that's this guy. That would be really convenient for me. Not though. This is the 2 kilowatt. That's 2. This is probably the 32. 32 ohm. $680K is what it says on the thing. Let's see what it really is. Definitely a lie. Probably gonna end up being like 68 somehow. It's coming as, oh, no, it's 0.69 mega ohms. So that is 680,000. Wow, labeling is correct for once. Go figure. Yeah, I don't know where that bag of 100Ks were. There's 220. There are two 220s in there. See if it actually is 220. Really cool when the label's correct. Makes me feel all special inside. All right, let's see. Oh, look at that. Oh, 220. Sure, let's throw two of those in there and find out what happens. Let me throw them in parallel so it's. Dooby-dooby-doo. Dooby-dooby-dooby-doo. Okay. All right, so that is 220 in both slots. Switching to voltage. DC. And checking. Is going down. I'm going to unplug this so it's not even a question of what is it trying to charge. What is the resistance of the motor. And still going down. So it only works in very short intervals. Unless by chance these are too low wattage, which seems like it could be an issue. Maybe I need more. Again, I don't know what the wattage of these little guys are. Maybe I need more of these guys, the big honkers. That being said, the big honkers, if used in both slots, also do not cause this to function. Really kind of a lose-lose. In and 2N. Go. Oops, nope. All right. 7-8 bridged and 6-7 bridged. If it were just an issue of wattage, then I should expect to see the capacitance going up, or the charge on the capacitor going up, even though it should be going slow. And it is going up, but will it continue going up? Nope, it's going back down. Now it's going up. Still going up. Um, 657, 658, 659, 660. 1660 is where it's at. All right, let's wait a hot minute. Thank you, Haunted. So that's that one's not. That one's a yellow, violet, red, gold. which might be a 10. I believe that's 44 kilo ohms. Weird. Might be that resistor is no good. Not give me any resistance. Or rather, well, no, I guess if it was broken, it would have. Alright, we're at 1.88, which is definitely up from 1.6, but as I'm observing it, it's dropping rapidly. Yeah. Starting my capacitor is dwindling. Folks, I ain't got it tonight. Here's what we did accomplish. We did successfully. Now, Austin, PPP says in parallel we shouldn't be causing it to drop. Need to have a diode across the motor, protect for back EMF. Also, the maximum output current is for the 555 is 200 milliamps at a 10 volt supply. If I accomplished entertainment, then I did my job. Moz, is there a special read tonight, or can I just go to bed? Go to bed. Leave. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry that I did not get it to function again. I can't even go to bed until I clean up some of that mess. Plus, a kid come in here and eat a resistor. So, I apologize. We learned some stuff. We got very scientific. We know now how to take apart an Xbox controller, even if you don't have a T8 Torx safety wrench or safety driver. And all right then. I hope you enjoyed it, even though it wasn't exactly everything I had hoped it would be. But yeah, come back Thursday for Bad Advice stream. Like, here's some bad advice. Doing a live electronics project when you don't know how to do electronics. Going solely off of one successful project you had where it worked apparently by accident and divine intervention. But thanks, everybody. Extra Life's coming up this weekend. Bye. I'll stop the stream in a minute. I'm just resting. Alright, I found it. Bye.